On the boat. Da, barge on other side. You still need us? What do we do now to tie my train to the barge?
Mademoiselle Takatak, loco coco mitchen.
What did your husband say? You attach chain to train and chain put train with barge.
Up, catch it up.
If that's going to work. Hello, Kate Walker here.
Miss Walker, this is Professor Potts. I'm about to start my lecture on the U-Code at any moment. Please make haste to come.
Okay, I'll give it my best.
Excellent. We'll be in the main lecture hall. See you soon.
Ah, there you are, Miss Walker. Good, good. Take a seat quickly. I'm impatient to start my lesson. My young friends, a very exciting discovery, unimaginable up until only a few hours ago, has come into my hands and has finally allowed me to complete my study on the mysterious Yukol people. Lights, please. The Yukols are a people from the far north about whom very little is known. They live far away, very far away, on the frozen borders of Syberia. This distance and the climatic conditions of the region, which are unfavorable to human existence, have limited the size of the Yukol population and kept it out of reach of the scientific world. The handful of slides that follow are actually the only documentation we have in our possession. It was a Russian explorer who made these drawings and took these photographs 100 or so years ago. Today, we owe what we know about the Yukol people and their culture to him. We know that the origins of the Yukols date back to the last ice age. Curiously, evidence of their presence has been found in Western Europe, and more precisely in the prehistoric caves at the heart of the Alps. This people, it seems, undertook a long migration over centuries towards the far north of the globe. The reasons for this migration are due to the importance of the mammoth in their craft, trade, and culture. They used them for transportation and as beasts of burden. The mammoth brought them meat, skins, fat, and ivory. Man and animal lived in symbiosis. There's no doubt about it. Mammoths started to drift away from the region due to changing climatic conditions, and the Yukols followed them to the north, to the edges of Syberia. Prehistoric cave drawings, identified as Yukol in origin, first led me to the extraordinary hypothesis that the Yukols had managed to domesticate the mammoth. They are, to the best of our knowledge, the only prehistoric people who represent a man riding a mammoth. Today, because of this genuine mammoth skin effigy, identified by myself as an authentic Neolithic object, I can confirm this hypothesis. Yukol forebears managed to tame mammoths. Prehistoric man uses little imagination. He draws what he sees and represents scenes from real life. This familiar day-to-day object is actually a children's toy. As we have seen, Yukol existence was inextricably linked to that of the mammoth. They used its skin for clothing and to make the roofs and walls of their houses. They used the tusks to build the frameworks of their homes, as well as weapons, tools, and jewelry. Curiously, the disappearance of the mammoth 12,000 years ago had no immediate effect on the Yukol's way of life. It seemed that for a long time after, the people maintained their strong bond with the mammoth through the centuries. As incredible as it may seem, the Yukol people have continued right up until the start of this century to feed themselves on mammoth meat and to use the skin for clothing and shelter. The ivory craftwork industry is still flourishing. It would appear that to preserve ancestral customs, the Yukols learned how to exploit through the centuries the large number of frozen mammoth carcasses that were perfectly preserved in the ice of the Siberian tundra. They have been able to live mainly off this enormous freezer stock for almost 30 centuries. As plausible as this explanation may seem, it seems it is not enough for the scientific community who, I will confess, is greatly perplexed by the question. In the absence of acceptable scientific evidence, we have to make do with Yukol shaman artifacts. The research department that I have the honor to represent today lends no credence to the myths and legends that these tribal charlatans peddle. We have to take their stories at face value, mere tales to while away the long Siberian winter. The legend of the Siberian ice ark is a very good example. You are invited to find out for yourselves from the pamphlet that I have passed around to you. This legend would have us believe that today, somewhere on a lost island to the north of Syberia, there are living mammoths still in existence, a sort of hangover from the Ice Age. This small herd has been miraculously preserved for more than 120 centuries by the Yukol's tender care. And the island on which the pachyderms are said to live is called Syberia. My friends, I advise you to resist the temptation you may have to believe in this pish and tish. The island of Syberia is not charted on any map, and the idea that mammoths have survived to the 21st century is an idle scientist's pipe dream. The Yukols were sadly among the first victims of the colonization of continental Siberia led by the Russians in the 20th century. The Kolkhoz and Sovkhoz systems, as well as the exploitation, disdain, and humiliation people had to suffer, marked a definitive break in the Yukol's traditional lifestyle. And since the collapse of the communist regime, the Yukol population finds itself confronted with the same political and social upheavals that other Siberian communities are experiencing. There are two consequences to arise from this. Some Yukols have lost their tribal identity and have integrated into the Russian population. Others, however, have sought long and hard to re-establish links with their ancestral culture that was lost under the Soviet regime. Now, at the start of the 21st century, the last true surviving Yukols have gone to live on the vast territories of their ancestors. Nobody knows today where they live or how they survive. Their very existence would be a matter for speculation if they did not turn up periodically at the tundra's most isolated fur trading posts to exchange mammoth tusks for essential items. There ends my lecture for today. Thank you for being among us today, Miss Walker. Please make your way to the laboratory where you will find your mammoth doll. There are also photocopies of my lectures should you so require them. What is it you want to know, miss?
What would you say about seeing Hans Vorarlberg again? After all, you could come with me and help me find him.
Young lady, you are very kind. I'm far too old for such escapades.
I must congratulate you for your lecture. You were right. The subject is absolutely fascinating. I never believed that mammoths could be so interesting.
What you heard was only the tip of the iceberg, my dear. But if I have at least awoken a passion in you, I'm only too proud.
Did Hans Vorarlberg agree with your hypothesis on the Ukals being able to tame mammoths?
Now, Hans was no man of science. His pathological obsession was to find mammoths that were still in existence. Such a hypothesis is somewhat overblown, don't you think?
You don't believe in it yourself?
Mammoths died out thousands of years ago. Of this we are certain. Today, the only mammoths in Syberia are frozen ones.
Do you know where Hans might have gone after his stay here in Barrackstadt?
No, but I would not be surprised if he left in search of the Ukals, or what is left of them today.
I'll leave you in peace. I hope I haven't disturbed you too much.
Sorry? No, not at all, my dear child.
Hello?
Where are you?
Hi, Dan. I'm in Barrackstadt.
What? Is that a town? I hope the man you're looking for lives there. Are you coming home soon?
From what I gather, it's one huge university with an extraordinary station aviary. If you could only see it, there are trees and birds everywhere. It's so weird here.
Sounds like a great place for a bit of sightseeing. So, are you coming back soon?
I don't think so. In fact, the train I'm traveling on has some kind of a mechanical problem. We've been forced to stop here.
Us? I thought you were alone. Who's with you?
Oscar, the train engineer.
You're messing around with mechanics now, are you?
Don't be so stupid, Dan, please. Oscar's an automaton created by Mr. Varlberg, the man I'm looking for. And he's not any old robot. He's a sophisticated butler type, if you see what I mean. He's a bit obsessive as well.
Kate, I don't know what they're feeding you in Europe, but don't you think it's time that you came home?
But my mission still isn't finished.
To hell with your mission. I don't know why you accepted it in the first place. If you just stuck to the middle of the road, then we wouldn't be in this mess.
We? If there's any mess, it's me who's in it. And while I'm trying to come to grips with strange towns, you, my darling, are sitting at home on your butt. I seem to remember we had nothing against my departure.
It was only going to be 2 or 3 days, Kate. Please, try to put yourself in my shoes.
Your shoes. Not only do I have to fit myself into your diary, but I've got to get myself into your shoes as well. Is there anywhere else Sir would like me to put myself while we're on this subject?
Look, I don't want to talk about it. Call me back when you calm down.
I was perfectly calm before I picked up your call. I only wanted a few words of encouragement, not your disdain. Was that too much to ask?
You can be such a selfish...
Takes one to know one, sweetheart. Everything okay?
Yes, Kate Walker. I am waiting to continue our journey.
Oscar, if you tell me one more time something's missing, I'll...
Everything is ready. Take your seat, Kate Walker. We are leaving.
I'll... Okay... What are you doing there, Oscar?
It is imperative that we comply with railroad and customs regulations, Kate Walker.
Oscar, don't you think we could drop the trifling details once and for all?
We need an exit visa to get beyond the wall, Kate Walker.
And you wouldn't know where I could get one of them from, would you?
There is usually some form of authority stationed at a guard post that is strategically positioned to issue such a visa.
Oscar, don't you think we've...
You neglected to find the clockwork winding mechanism for the
What nerve!
I agree, Kate.
If you weren't so upset...
I am not entirely
Oscar,
Yes, Kate Walker.
Okay.
Yes.
I wonder how that works. No point. It's locked. Hello?
Kate! Oh, is that you? What's going on?
Well, I finally got the mechanical train wound, and I hope it's going to take me to Hans Vorarlberg. I had to sort things out with a couple of weirdo sailors, and they probably ripped me off. But now I'm blocked behind this massive wall. You should see it, it's huge.
I'm not talking about that. I want to know what's going on with Dan.
What do you mean?
I bumped into him at Maggie's do, and he said you'd argued.
That's a bit over the top. Things got a bit heated the last time we called, that's all. No need to go overboard.
I don't mean to be Miss Melodramatic, but he didn't seem in such great shape. He had his down in the dumps head on.
Like Dan has a down in the dumps head.
Well, yeah, when that shock of hair flops over his forehead and his eyes mist up and his eyebrows kind of creased together.
I'd never noticed. Maybe I did go a bit too far, but he's got such a goody two-shoes image of me that sometimes I just lose it. And this case is taking up a lot of headspace. I was just looking for a bit of compassion.
Well, you sure got mine. So, what's going down?
Like I said before, I'm kind of getting somewhere, but it's slow. This Hans Vorarlberg guy is getting more and more fascinating by the day.
Okay, well, anyway, it doesn't sound like you're bored. Not like back here in the office. Every day is boredom day. It's just no fun without you. When are you coming back?
Shouldn't be long, I hope. Look, I've got to go. See you soon.
Well, call us again real soon. And be easier on Dan next time, huh?
I'll try. No point. It's locked. Look, broken glasses. If they belong to the captain, then he sure has eye problems going by those lenses. Good day to you, sir.
Captain Malatesta, Commander-in-Chief of the Barkstadt border post, at your service, madam.
I need a visa to cross the wall and to continue my journey to the east. They told me that you are the only person in a position to issue such a visa.
Indeed. This responsibility is part of my duties. However, I am not currently issuing visas because nobody must venture beyond the wall.
And why not?
It's far too dangerous, in particular for a lady of your standing who is traveling unescorted.
Dangerous? What exactly do you mean, Captain?
The enemy, miss. The enemy. I've been observing them for several years through my telescope. There's one particular horseman stationed yonder. He's a scout from the invading enemy army, and he's been spying on us. So I have to be extremely vigilant. He knows that I know he's there, you understand? And as long as I keep my eye on him, he won't dare try anything.
Are you sure?
Please, take a look for yourself.
Is the person who takes care of the gate anywhere around?
There is no person who takes care of the gate. Believe you me, ma'am. I have been the one and only guardian of this gate since 1968. That year, I took over the position from the late Lieutenant Colonel Malatesta, my own father.
In that case, can you tell me how the mechanism works? It sure looks complicated to me.
Not at all. It is child's play for anyone who takes the time to work out its surprisingly straightforward logic. And from the looks of your locomotive, it shouldn't pose you any problems.
Why do you say that?
When I caught sight of your formidable locomotive, I immediately said, heavens, only Hans Vorarlberg could design such an engine. And I know what I'm talking about, ma'am, because he invented the gate's original mechanism. It was his last creation here in Barkstadt.
So you know Hans Vorarlberg?
No, I mean, not personally. I was only a baby when he stayed in Barkstadt. My father spoke often of him, and I knew about his inventions. He left very many things behind him.
I know.
In any case, I noticed that his fantastic knack for inventing has not deteriorated with age. How's he doing?
I don't know. In fact, I don't actually know him. I'm searching for him. An inheritance matter. I hope his train is going to lead me to him.
And why not? His inventions are always full of surprises.
Don't mind.
Please, ma'am.
I haven't got time to have a drink right now. I haven't got time to have a drink right now. I haven't got time to have a drink. I haven't got time to have a... I haven't got time to have a drink right... I haven't got time to have a drink right now. I haven't got time to have a drink right... I haven't got... I haven't got time to have... I haven't got... Look! Broken glasses. How strange. I can't see a Cossack horseman at all. There's just a dead tree in the middle of an empty plain. That poor captain must have really bad eyesight. Colonel, sir.
Captain, miss.
But you have the air of a great officer.
You flatter me, miss. Unfortunately, I'm afraid that we frontier soldiers are often forgotten by the military administration.
There's no justice. I sympathize with you, Captain. Let us forget our worries for a moment and have a little drink together in the name of friendship.
It would be my pleasure, miss, but the regulations strictly forbid it.
Come on. A little glass of wine never hurt anybody, and nobody need know.
Wine, miss? You are putting me in a very delicate situation.
Don't deny yourself, Captain. Just a little glass. I assure you, it is excellent.
Well, perhaps just a drop.
Here's your glass. To your good health, Captain.
And to yours, miss. It's been a long time since I've drunk wine in such pleasant company. I admit, it is excellent.
Isn't it? You wouldn't think it came from Barrickstadt. It is made from the Amazon forest Sauvignon grape that has been miraculously conserved and cultivated in the station garden.
Well, well, well. The university authorities kept that one to themselves.
You know, Captain, it is essential that I continue my journey eastwards.
Please don't even think about it. As I've said, it's extremely dangerous. The enemy is spying on us.
Perhaps your Cossack horseman isn't quite what you thought. Perhaps it's just a dead tree twisted into a strange shape. You should take another look. You never know. Go on, Captain. Give it a try.
So be it. I will make this concession to the fairer sex, miss. But it does seem to be quite ridiculous. Incredible. How is this possible? By what strange magic? How could I have been so wrong for so long? The enemy was only a tree. I'm so ashamed.
It's not that bad, Captain. It's only human to make mistakes after all.
A tree. Nothing but a dead tree.
Pull yourself together, Captain. It's okay. And now I suppose there's nothing stopping you from issuing me a visa?
Yes, of course. There is no more danger. All these years. And now the Cossack has gone. There is nothing left to watch.
Captain, you should be delighted. From now on, you don't have to stay pinned to your watchtower. Travel can start up again normally. You will be able to resume your regular duties like issuing entrance and exit visas.
You are right. I will sign you a visa to cross the wall frontier immediately. 1,000 apologies. Here, miss.
Thank you, Captain. And keep your eyes open.
Miss, if we could keep this between ourselves, please. For the sake of my honor, you understand?
You have my promise, Captain. Oscar, can't you please forget about
Your request.
I don't suppose you can help me.
You're not.
Okay.
Yes.
Here is the visa. I hope it's regulation, my dear Oscar.
It is regulation. Here is your ticket. Have a good journey, Kate Walker.
So, can we go now?
Indeed, we are already very late, Kate Walker.
Here you go, Oscar.
Thank you, Kate Walker. Now, please return to your seat, Kate Walker.
Yes, Oscar. Immediately, Oscar.
Kate Walker! Kate Walker!
Oscar, what's going on? Why is the train stopped? Where are we?
The springs of the train are unwound again, Kate Walker. As for the question pertaining to our geographical location, I really haven't the slightest idea.
Well, we'd better get looking for a winding machine, my dear Oscar. I hope that this place actually has one.
The air here is so polluted that I could not possibly risk leaving the locomotive. My joints might corrode irreparably.
Right. Let's see. Gosh, it's really gloomy here.
I have total confidence.
Yeah. See you soon.
I shall stay.
You there!
That door is locked. I've got to find another way around. My God, Oscar! Oscar, talk to me! Are you okay?
Why, it is absolutely inadmissible, intolerable, and indescribable. I have been attacked.
What do you mean you've been attacked?
My hands! I no longer have them! They've been stolen!
My God, you haven't got your hands! But who did this? What's going on here?
We can be sure of one thing, Kate Walker. That this heinous crime was committed by a barbarian. A dysfunctional individual whose behavior lacks all finesse.
Did you get a look at your attacker? Tell me exactly how it happened.
I was standing here polishing up my metalwork. I was just thinking that with all the dust in the air, it would be a good idea to...
Oscar!
I was very busy, and I suddenly felt two powerful arms grab me from behind and tie me up before I had the chance to defend myself. I wanted to call out, but my attacker gagged me before I could emit the slightest sound. Then he dismantled my hands with a terrifying pair of pliers. It was horrible.
I can believe it, my poor Oscar, but did you see him?
He was a real barbarian, I tell you. He had bloodshot eyes, steel teeth, and brown scaly skin, and he emitted foul odors. He was a monster, Kate Walker, a real monster, and he had a weapon.
Oscar, please calm down. Everything's going to be all right. Right, Oscar. Let's go find this hand bandit. And this time, we're not going to be such a pushover.
Kate Walker, please do not think that this problem does not concern me. But if it's all the same to you, I would so much prefer to stay here, just to be on the safe side. An engineer never abandons his train, after all.
Yeah, sure. Another good reason not to lend a... not to help me out.
Kate Walker, even an automaton deserves a little compassion. I have just been savagely assaulted. Oh, I can feel one of my spasms coming on. I am on the verge of a clockwork breakdown. And all you do is accuse me of being selfish.
Okay, take a rest, Oscar. You're not much use without your hands anyway. Right.
Good luck.
My dear brother, what joy to have news of you after your long silence during the war years. So, you're working for the Russians now. I tell you, we've been hearing some worrying stories about them here. Just your description of that dingy factory makes me cough. But it's so good to hear that your talent is being recognized for its true value. and that your automaton creations are taking the place of workers for all those menial jobs. I'm so proud that Vorarlberg automatons are making such a contribution, even if it is small, to the improvement of people's lives.
Meanwhile, back in Valladolid, we've been licking our wounds after the war years. Some people have returned, others not. Life is slowly coming back, but it's taking time. All my love, Anna. Hello? Hello?
Kate, it's Dan. Can you hear me?
Dan, is that you? I can't hear you so good. Dan?
Hey, Kate, let's talk. It's about the last conversation. Are you still mad at me? Come on, it's important.
Dan, you're breaking up. I'll try and call you when I get out of this mine.
You're fine? Kate, come on, what's happening? Listen, we've got to talk.
Look, the line's just getting worse and worse. I'm hanging up. That looks like a ventilation duct. I don't need to do that. Door is locked. Hey, you! Who are you? Careful, I'm warning you. I'm not afraid of you, okay? What do you want? Why did you do that?
There must be some misunderstanding.
Because you reckon theft is all about misunderstanding, do you? Give me my hands back. Now!
Your hands? And what are those on the ends of your arms? I can explain everything to you. You see, I'm no thief.
You broke into my train, assaulted my driver, mutilated him, and stole his hands. Apart from that, you are not a thief.
I have not stolen them, miss. Only borrowed them for a while.
You've got to be joking.
I'm not joking with you, miss. I would never take such liberties.
They belong to Oscar, my automaton engineer. Why did you steal them?
They are extraordinary. Real mechanical wonders. I would never have been capable of designing such hands myself. Never. Such workmanship. Such precision crafting. It is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
And just because you like them, you decided to steal them?
I have only borrowed them, little missy. Temporarily, you understand? Of course, I shall return them to you when I don't need them anymore. You can...
Excuse me?
You see, these hands are all I need to complete my plan. At last, I can finish off my automaton pianist and fulfill my dreams. Everything is now in place. You see, I have converted this old, useless, stupid factory into a magical theatre. As you can see, the furnaces, piping, chimney stacks, they've all been converted into one gigantic organ. I will be able to accompany the world's greatest living singer. Now all I need is her...
When you stepped on the train, you were trespassing on private property.
Everything in this city, sweet lady, belongs to the state. And to all intents and purposes, the state in this city is me.
My train is not a part of this factory. And besides, we never would have stopped here in the first place if its engine hadn't needed winding.
Well, as long as your train is at this station, it may be requisitioned and used for industrial purposes.
Out of the question. And I forbid you to do so.
Maybe I won't have to. Perhaps we can maybe come to some kind of agreement, my sweet lady.
I hope so. And fast. You mentioned an automaton pianist, didn't you? Where did you find it?
I pieced it together myself, my dear. Except for the hands, that is. I admit that I underestimated the intricacy of this part of the design. A pianist's hands are very important, after all. But enough. Now he has a perfect set of hands.
Your passion amazes me. Have you designed any other automatons here?
No. Clockwork mechanisms do not interest me as such. I simply needed a robot capable of accompanying Helena Romansky on my huge organ. I adapted an existing model, a reject automaton secretary. I reconstructed it and adapted it to this new function.
An existing model, you say? Did you ever know Hans Vorarlberg? He was a kind of mechanical genius, like yourself.
Hans Vorarlberg? Yes. Or maybe... I don't know. No.
Sure, I understand. The number of automatons still functioning in this abandoned complex is amazing, though.
My dear, one thing is for sure. For many years, I have been totally alone here. If that man ever came to this city, he left long, long ago.
And what if I helped you to make some other hands just for your automaton?
Why should life be complicated when I already have what I need? And I very much doubt you are in any position to create such a perfect pair of hands.
I'm sorry, I can't make heads or tails out of your story at all. Without my engineer's hands, I'm stuck here, you see?
Everything I have designed, all that I have invented, everything is for her. Do you realize? Her. Oh, to hear her sing one more time here in my factory.
But who is she? Who are you talking about?
Helena. The one and only Helena Romansky. Her voice is so pure, like an angel. One day she came here to Komkolsgrad. She sang here, you know, when our industrial city was in its heyday. Oh, so long ago now. It was almost unreal. It was magical. I remember it like it was yesterday. Then, later, a long time later, she saved my soul. She saved my life and gave it meaning. When I was told that the mining program was to be abandoned, that this industrial city was consigned to oblivion, that I, its director, would from then on be nothing but a guardian of these rusting remains of a bygone age, that is when I first formed my plan to bring Helena Romansky back to this factory. But this time, she would sing for me, and me alone.
And is she okay about this?
Sure. Once she finds out that I have done all this for her, when she realizes how I converted this vast network of pipes and tubes to create one of the most impressive organs ever made, then, you know, this was no small achievement, miss. Once molten iron flowed through here. Now there wafts only beautiful melodies. But then I realized I had to make an automaton pianist. I began to despair that I would never create hands that were intricate enough. But then you arrived. So lucky, don't you think?
Yeah, that must have been a happy coincidence for someone around here. So, when will this Madame Romansky come back? When do I get my hands back?
I don't know. Maybe someone should look for her. Tell her. Hey, why don't you go? The quicker you bring her back, the sooner you can carry on your business trip. Now, isn't that a good idea?
And you promise that once Helena has sung, you will give me back my automaton's hands?
I promise, my dear. You have my solemn word.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to believe you. Where should I go hunting for this singer, then?
I have no idea. But for a woman of the world like yourself, finding her should pose no obstacle. Helena Romansky was a world celebrity, you know. I have collected many objects, souvenirs of her that I keep in a room. A shrine to her glory. It's like her own personal museum in a way. You should take a look.
This whole story is completely nuts. Please excuse...
So be...
It seems this monorail is controlled from somewhere else. Hi, Mom.
Kate! What? Have you seen the time? Why are you phoning me in the middle of the night?
Sorry, Mom. I forgot about the time zones. Did I wake you?
Well, of course you woke me up. I was sleeping deeply, too. I simply got to get my beauty sleep. I've got an absolutely crazy day tomorrow.
I'm sorry. It's just that it's real important and urgent. I haven't got a lot of time.
Well, if it really can't wait till tomorrow, Munchkin, come on, tell your mommy what's up. No way I'm calling Dan for you if that's what you want.
Mom, listen, please. I seem to remember you're seeing a Marovich or something like that at the moment.
No. Malkovich, Munchkin. Frank Malkovich.
Yeah, right. So, but he's an opera singer, right?
That's right. They say he has the finest voice of his time, my dear. Imagine that.
That's just great. So then he must have known a famous singer called Helena Romansky. She's Russian too. Please, if you can ask him if...
Listen, charge your answer. Frank knows them all. I'll just wake him up and let him tell you himself.
You mean he's...
Oh, Kate, listen, you're still there. Frank tells me he did hang out with a Romansky once, but it was platonic. You know those singers. She's a great soprano.
Great. Does he know where she went? Does she still sing? Where does she live?
1 second, Munchkin. You know... Oh. Frank says she was very ill and she withdrew from circulation. Really? Oh, okay. She went to rest in some spa somewhere. He thinks it was called Arrowbad, but it was 15 years ago and he's not sure. And well, honey, when Frank wakes up, he always takes a little bit of time to get going, you know.
Thanks a bundle, Mom. And Frank, too. You're both fantastic. Love you both. Thanks again. Catch you later.